In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to paint your complementary color candy pop art painting using liquid tempera. So once you've drawn your four different, or your four exact candies, one in each box, you're going to get a paper plate and just get your first complementary color pair. Don't get all of your colors. So in this case, I'm getting blue, orange, and then I'm going to get a little bit of white, and I'll show you what we'll do with that. Get yourself a bigger brush and a smaller brush, a cup of water, and a paper towel. And then also get the big paper to go underneath your painting to protect the table so you have less cleanup to do later. So I want to think about which do I want the background to be orange or the fish to be orange. I think in this case I'm going to make the background orange and the fish blue because those are my two complements. So you can start out by painting the background first and then the item, or the candy, sorry. So with this type of paint, you don't never want to glob it on thick like this because when it dries it will actually crack. You really only need a small amount and you want to spread it out. So I like to start by going around the edges, and once you start to see it get a little streaky, then you just get more paint. So since I blobbed a pile on there before, I can certainly take it from the top. And so you just get a dip more. So just a tiny little bit of paint, it goes a long way. Now this type of paint you don't add water to until you're ready to clean your brush. So I'm going to go right off the edge of the page, and that's why I have the paper there. So I'm going to pick it up, it's nice and clean. So I would go around and make this the edge. Now I chose to do solid orange. However, if you wanted to mix white in with the orange and make a tint of orange or a light value of orange, it's still orange and it's still a complement of blue. So that's your choice too. You can either do the pure color right off the color wheel, or you can add white to it and make a tint. The next thing that we're going to do, so now that I've finished my background, I'm going to wash my brush and I'm going to start with my fish. Now, with liquid tempera paints, they tend to cover your details much more so than like a watercolor paint. So what you're going to want to do is not just paint this, the solid blue, like this, because it will cover. You want to mix some tints and shades, or some tints actually. So I'm going to have my blue and my white. So I'm going to start out by just mixing a nice light blue. And I'm going to make some of my details that light blue. So if you look at like a picture of a Swedish fish, you'll notice that some areas where the light is hitting, it's a lighter value of red, so it looks almost pinkish. I'm kind of doing the same thing. And you can look at your reference photos too, since we were using reference photos for this. Okay, so I'm using my smaller brush, sort of fill this in. Okay, that way I don't lose that detail. Same thing in here. You can mix multiple different values. So this, it's still lighter than that, but it's darker than that. So having multiple values in a piece of art can make it interesting because then it has what's called a high range of value, which makes it more interesting than just doing the flat blue. And now I'm going to add my flat blue in there. Now you don't have to do it light to dark with paint, that's just how I chose to do it. If you wind up covering something, like you see there, I got a little, little orange. I can always go back over after I wash my brush. Mix up a nice light value, cover that mouth. Okay, so these are all some different tricks that you can use for tempera painting techniques. Once you finish this up, you then move on to your next complementary color scheme. So you would have one with blue and orange, one with red and green, one with yellow and violet, and then one in any color of your choosing.